Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Faculty X Training, and in this video I'm going to touch on the subject of why is it that skinny people struggle to put on muscle. Now, this is an area that I struggled with for a long period of time. I was always that person who, despite being quite strong and despite training quite often, I found that I never saw the results. I was unable to stack on muscle, right? But over the years, as I've continued to persist and I've continued to remain motivated and stay consistent, I've noticed some changes, and I've been able to figure out how my body works, how my body responds to training and how it recovers. And so in this video, I would like to share 9 tips to help you skinny men out there who are trying to put on muscle for the summertime. Stick around in this video and I'll share some tips. That's completely normal. That doesn't mean that you're a failure.
But I'm too strong, I dust them off, I'm too strong, way too strong, I dust them off, yeah.
So tip number 1 to help skinny men put on muscle. 1, figure out your why. Why do you train? If your answer is a shallow one, like I just want to get my body ready for the summer, or I'm trying to put on muscle so I can impress these women, then it's very likely that you won't stick around in this game for long, and it's very likely that you're going to give up, right? Essentially, your why, your motivation, your reason has to be much bigger than I just want to look good, right? When I first started off in the gym, that's all it was really. I just wanted to look good. I mean, of course, I was playing basketball at the time, so I've always understood that training was a vehicle to help me elevate my game. But when I was 17, 18, my understanding of training was still very shallow, so I was just trying to ego lift. I was just in the gym lifting weights that I knew I couldn't handle, but just because I felt that that would give me bigger biceps or bigger shoulders. And so I was putting my body at risk, and I wasn't seeing any results, even though I was coming home battered from the workout session. So once I figured out my why, then that's when I really started to notice the results. And I'm going to share with you guys what my why is. Why do I train? The reason I train is because I understand that there's a symbiotic relationship between the mind and the body, right? Whenever I move my body, there is an equal reaction in my mind. I find that whenever I'm stressed, I train, and that puts me in a better mood. It elevates my mood, right? So understanding that there's a link between the mind and the body, I want to try and harmonize that. And that's what I do with training. So now my mindset has shifted totally from, oh, I'm just trying to train to get big, to I'm trying to train so I can master my mind, right? These weights that I lift, the movements that I do, it's no longer just about trying to look good. I do it so I can challenge myself. I do it so I can push myself mentally. I do it so that I can experience the best version of myself possible, right? So once you decide to move away from those shallow reasons and you figure out a reason why you're doing this, why do you train, then that's when you'll begin to notice the results, because training won't just be a means to an end. It will turn into a way of life. And that's what I found helped me the most. Tip number 2, understand that you need to be patient in this game. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? I'll repeat that. Training is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It's not going to happen in 30 days. It's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 2 years, right? This is something that should really be a lifetime goal, a lifetime thing. It has to turn into a lifestyle. A lot of people, skinny people in particular, we get super inspired when we see those videos on YouTube of a 30-day transformation, or we see a 60-day transformation. We think, you know what? I'm just going to follow this guy's workout, and in 30 days or 60 days, I'm going to be ripped. And then what happens? You know, they go through the 30 days and they come out of it like, my body hasn't really changed. I haven't really developed, right? And then they get demotivated. You have to understand that this is a lifestyle thing, right? You need to start watching all those transformation videos, which makes false promises like in 30 days, you'll be able to do a muscle up, or in 30 days, you're going to be able to do a handstand press up. Now, while it's good to watch all those transformation videos as a source of inspiration, you have to understand that this is a lifestyle thing, right? You have to understand that your body takes time to change. It's the mind that changes first before the body, right? It's the mind that makes those new neural connections and those new neural pathways. So before there's even a change in the body, it's the mind that actually begins to change. So of course, it's going to take a while for your body to acclimate to the new stress that you're putting it under. Don't expect in 30 days for your body to transform. Don't expect your body to transform in a year. Of course, it will do, just by the fact that you're staying consistent and you're doing good practices, you're practicing different movements, you're putting your body through different challenges. Yes, you will see some changes. However, don't get obsessed with it. This is a lifestyle change that you have to implement. And when you understand that and you go beyond trying to rush towards an end goal of what you want your body to be like, then you'll begin to see results naturally as they come. And then there won't be so much anxiety around it. Tip number 3, take progress pictures. With a progress picture, it's very easy for you to see how far you've come. A lot of the time, we might not see it in the mirror, right? Because we're so used to seeing our bodies, but only once you pair 2 pictures together side by side from different months, you realize, oh wow, I actually did grow. I actually did begin to put on some muscle. And that also motivates you and keeps you inspired to keep going. So tip number 3 is take progress pictures. Tip number 4, don't overtrain. Understand that your body needs time to recover and learn to listen to your body. Initially, when I was first training, I thought that the more reps that I did, the more I pushed myself, the more often I went to the gym. I thought that that was going to be the deciding factor in how my body would shape. So I would be in the gym consistently pushing myself 5 times a week, and I still noticed that that didn't change anything, right? I was still the same weight. I was still not putting on any muscle. So it's not about how frequently you go to the gym or how much you train, right? You can push your body to the absolute limit and then still get no results. The reason why is because the body needs time to recover. When you overtrain and you don't allow yourself enough rest, enough sleep, then it's just impossible for your body to recover and grow. Tip number 5, learn the basics. What are the basics? Pull-ups, push-ups, squats, overhead press. Make sure that you can do 10 to 20 push-ups easily before you decide to go heavy on a bench press. Make sure that you could do a pull-up before you start doing heavy lat pull downs. By mastering the basics, right, these compound movements such as squatting, overhead press, push-ups, pull-ups, if you literally just stick with those 4 exercises and you begin to build upon that week by week, month by month, you'll definitely notice some results. You don't necessarily have to do all those complex movements that we see in the gym and use all those different machines and dumbbells and different weights. You literally just need the basics, right? Stick to the basics, learn to do them well with correct form, and then move on to different things, right? Master the basics first. Tip number 6, learn to be comfortable in your body. Don't try to fight nature. If your body is a naturally slim build, right? Yes, you can overeat as much as you want, but that's not really sustainable in the long run. I went through that period of overeating where I was so obsessed with trying to pack on muscle that I was eating about 5-6 meals a day. And while I did manage to put on 10 kilograms and I was considerably larger than I am now, that wasn't sustainable. After I stopped eating those 4 meals a day, I just started losing it naturally. And then I figured out the reason why is because my natural build is a slim build. So while I still want to put on muscle, I can't lose sight of the way that my body's just naturally made. It's not naturally made to be able to pack on muscle super quick, right? So I'm not really concerned about that. I'm not trying to defy nature and do something that just goes against my genetic makeup. You have to learn to accept your body. You might not be built to squat 500 pounds, 300 pounds. You might not be built to deadlift 200 kilograms. You might not be built that way. And you have to remain humble and just accept how your body is built, Of course, I'm not saying don't push yourself in the gym. I'm not saying don't set goals. I'm not saying that your fitness goal is somewhere way off, and unreachable. Anything that you could put in your mind, you can attain. All I'm trying to say is understand how your body is built and work with that, not against it. And once you do that, then you will naturally find that you'll begin to put on muscle. But when you begin trying to push too hard and you begin going against how your body's naturally built, then there's a greater risk of injury. I've been there, it's happened to me before, and I've paid gravely for trying so hard to just push my body beyond its own limit. So don't go against your own nature and learn about your body rather than trying to push it beyond its limits. I've kind of lost track on what number this is. It might be tip number 7. But tip number 7 is don't give up too soon, right? I know it can be a hard journey and it can feel like I've given everything to this. I've been training for months now. I've been training for years and I see no results. It might get like that sometimes, but then it goes back to what I was saying in tip number 1. It's a lifestyle choice, right? It's a way of living. So don't give up when you're not seeing the results. Keep pushing through, because it's about the journey getting to where you want to get to. It's not necessarily about the results that people can tangibly see. You will eventually get the results that you're looking for, but it takes time, right? So don't give up too soon. Don't get discouraged when you see that you're putting all this work in, but you're not seeing any results. Understand that this takes time. The body takes time to change and adapt. Even science tells us that when you're training, it's not the physical body that changes first, it's actually the brain that changes. It's your brain that has to compute all these different changes and eventually feed the body information when it's asleep of how it should change based on the new level of stress that you gave it, right? So understand it takes time. So don't rush it, don't get discouraged, just stay diligent and stay consistent, and you will see the changes over time. Tip number 8. Intensity. Intensity is so important. I've seen this so many times where there are people in the gym just performing half-ass reps, right? People in the gym but not really present in the exercise that they're doing. They'll be in the gym but also be texting, or they'll be talking to a friend. They won't fully be present while they're training. And then what ends up happening because of that is their workout isn't very intense. It's very low intensity, it's not focused. Then how can you expect your muscle to really build at that point? You have to work out with intensity. You have to work out with intention. You have to focus on the muscle that is training. A lot of people, they train absent-minded. Yes, they may be squatting or they may be lifting something, but their mind isn't focused on the workout. It isn't focused on which muscles are activating. Their mind is somewhere else. They're listening to their music and they're off in a different zone, right? It's important for you to focus on the exercise that you're doing with an intention. If you're not doing that, then it's going to be very difficult for you to put on muscle, right? So swap frequency in the gym for intensity. Have intense days in the gym, intense short workouts, rather than very stretched out workouts, which you kind of apply yourself to, but also you're kind of distracted. So in the gym, stay focused and focus on intensity. Last tip, I believe this is tip number 9. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with training. For me, that's definitely what's helped me not only gain muscle, but just enjoy training and begin training more consistently, was building a relationship with my body and building a relationship with what I was doing. Once it became a lifestyle change for me, there was a total paradigm shift for me. It wasn't necessarily just about performing these reps with no intention behind it. It was therapy for me. Training became a way for me to take my mind elsewhere. Training became a way for me to connect with people again. It became about community. It became about different values and principles in my life, right? And that's all because I began to fall in love with the process. I began to fall in love with what it was that I was doing. A lot of people train, but they don't love it. They hate it. Last tip. Don't think of training in a one-dimensional sense, right? You have to expand your understanding of what training is. Training isn't just about being in a gym lifting weights. Training, once it becomes a mindset, you understand that going for a walk is a form of training. You know, whenever you exercise your willpower to say, I'm going to take the flight of stairs rather than catch a lift, or when you say, I'm going to carry these bags instead of catching an Uber and taking it home, all of these things, it begins to train your mind, right? Expand your mind to accept a broader understanding of what physical movement is. It's not just about lifting weights. Once you begin to understand that, then your perception around training changes. It's mental and it's also physical. So thank you guys for sticking around this video, and I hope to see you next time. Faculty X Training, and we're out.
Click, click, 4 stands, 7 racks with 6 panthers. Yo, bitch in the back, vibing with 5 dancers. My raid on the wave ships or mass atlas. Come stay out of the fleet, Aristotle on Nassas. Bitch, a nigga, not J Hus. I'm going deeper in the Denny steeper. I might bust no helium.